So, this is part two of the series What I Learned in 2025. In part one, I spoke about what 2025 taught me about relationships and people, sharing my personal stories. But today, I'm going to be sharing with you something even harder. I'm going to be talking about what 2025 taught me about myself. But before I dive in, I just want to ask you this. Have you subscribed? Please use the next 1 second to tap on the subscribe icon. This is the year I really want to get monetized, but that won't be possible without you. So see this as your way of supporting me, and I'll do my part by making sure I show up here with valuable content you won't regret watching. Thank you. This is probably the hardest thing I have ever had to accept in my life. Here it is. I am where I am in life because of me. When I finally accepted that, I realized two things were responsible for my lack and stunted growth in life: ignorance and fear. The truth is, I didn't know a lot. In fact, now I know one of the biggest reasons that a lot of us are behind in life, especially financially, it's not laziness, it's ignorance. If someone says you're ignorant, it feels disrespectful. It feels like they're calling you dull or stupid. But no, that is not it. Ignorance simply means not knowing, and there are things people know that you don't. 2025 was the year I finally accepted the true. I am where I am because I don't know anything or I know too little. And I decided to change my life first financially because I was always in lack. What is this? And I decided to take financial literacy seriously, and I came across some life changing information about money. And it drove me into thinking, so this is what people have been taught that I was never taught. This is what people know that I don't. Then how was I even supposed to stand a chance? And it's not like I didn't want to learn it, but because nobody taught me. Some of us grew up in homes where survival was a curriculum. Go to school, graduate, get a job. That is it. Nobody taught us how money actually works, how exposure changes your destiny, how important the right skills are, how positioning can shortcut struggles, years of struggles. Nobody taught us about leverage. Nobody taught us about being in the right rooms. Nobody taught us about proximity. So we grew up thinking we were fine until we met people who were taught these things early. And the difference became clear. You see people your age or even younger, but they are further in life. They live better, they move with confidence, they access opportunities easily. And you're here trying, hoping, praying because you don't know what to do. This was very painful for me to accept, but it forced me to also admit that life is unfair. But as unfair as life is, knowledge is the leveler. Knowledge is the leveling ground. So, to mention a few, I realized I was ignorant about the right skills to invest my time and life into, where to position myself for better opportunities, how value is created and rewarded in the real world, the systems to put in place so I got the results I wanted. I realized that effort without direction is still a waste. That being busy is not the same as being strategic. And the only way to win is to be skillfully strategic in what you do. So for me, elevation became a non-negotiable in 2026. Now let's talk about the second thing, fear. Ignorance alone didn't keep me in lack. Fear was also a huge contributor to that. What do I mean? Even the thing that I knew how to do, I was afraid of doing it. So I didn't throw myself completely into doing it. Let's take YouTube for example. I love to talk about life. I love to share my knowledge with people. I love to help people make quality decisions in their own life. But I was afraid because nobody around me does that. Nobody in my family is doing that. So I was afraid of doing it. It looks like I was joking with my life. I looked like a joke to them. I wasn't taken seriously. It was like everybody was looking at me saying, so this is what you want to do with your life? And I let that fear control me. I was afraid of failing in public. I was afraid of being laughed at. I was afraid of being told, we told you this is not going to work. I kept asking myself, what if this doesn't work? So instead of fully committing, I tried to play safe. I would post videos on the channel, but I wasn't consistent enough to see what it could fully become. But as they say, a man who is already on the ground isn't afraid of a fall. So I had to face my fears. I had to ask myself, what if this thing actually works? But only if I show up fully. What if my greatest and biggest regret wouldn't be failure, but never showing up and giving my all? Maybe you're watching me right now and you're in the same position as I was. You're crippled by the fear of what people around you will say. You feel like you've been tied down with fear of being different. Because the truth is, being different is expensive. But this is what I want to say to you. Staying the same is more dangerous than failure. But you're not going to fail. Because if you fail, the same people will laugh at you. So you cannot fail. Take failure out of your options. It is either you win or you win.